The great hall of the Korthak Empire stretched far into the darkness above. Massive pillars held up the ceiling that no one could see. Red lights cast strange shadows on the walls made of black stone. In the center of this hall sat Emperor Zektoth on his throne of metal and crystal. Admiral Vextar Cole walked across the smooth floor. His heavy boots made loud sounds that echoed in the silence. Behind him came strategist Morden Fell, carrying a datapad with glowing symbols. Both aliens wore the dark uniforms of the Imperial military. Their gray skin looked pale in the red light. "My Emperor," Admiral Cole said as he stopped before the throne. He put his fist over his heart in the Imperial salute. "We bring news of the outer systems." Emperor Zektoth leaned forward. His yellow eyes glowed like fire in the dim light. "Speak, Admiral. What worlds await our conquest?" Strategist Fell stepped forward and activated his datapad. A blue hologram appeared in the air between them. It showed a star system with 8 planets orbiting a yellow sun. "This is System 2847, my Emperor. The locals call their star Sol and their homeworld Earth." The Emperor studied the floating image. "Tell me about this Earth." "It is a water world, my Emperor," Fell explained. "Very rich in resources. The beings who live there call themselves humans. Our scouts say they are primitive. They still use chemical rockets to reach space. Their weapons fire metal bullets using explosive powder." Admiral Cole laughed. It was a harsh sound that bounced off the stone walls. "Chemical rockets? Are you serious? We stopped using those technology 1,000 years ago." "Yes, Admiral," Fell continued. "They have only just learned to split atoms for energy. Their fastest ships take months to travel between their own planets. They send radio signals that travel at light speed. Very slow and basic." Emperor Zektoth stood up from his throne. He was very tall, almost 3 meters high. His long coat moved around him like dark water. "How many ships do they have?" "Our scouts counted maybe 200 ships, my Emperor," Fell answered. "Small ones. Most cannot even leave their home system. They have no shields, no energy weapons, no faster-than-light travel." The Emperor walked down the steps from his throne. Each step made a loud clang on the metal. 200 ships, he said slowly. "We have conquered worlds with 10,000 ships. This will be easy." Admiral Cole nodded. "Too easy, my Emperor. Should we send just a small force? A few hundred ships could take this world in hours." "No," the Emperor said, his voice getting louder. "I am tired of small conquests. I want the galaxy to see our power. I want them to know that the Korthak Empire cannot be stopped." He turned to face both officers. "Admiral Cole, you will take the largest fleet in our history. 12,000 ships. Every class of warship we have. I want the humans to see our fleet coming and know that fighting is useless." Admiral Cole felt excited. 12,000 ships was more than he had ever commanded. "It will be an honor, my Emperor. When do we leave?" "You have 3 months to prepare," the Emperor said. "I want the Worldbreaker to lead the fleet." Both officers looked surprised. The Worldbreaker was the largest ship ever built by the Empire. It was 50 kilometers long and carried weapons that could crack planets in half. It had never been used in battle because no enemy had been strong enough to need it. "The Worldbreaker, my Emperor?" Fell asked. "Is that not too much for such a primitive world?" The Emperor's eyes flashed with anger. "Question me again and you will not live to see tomorrow," he growled. "I want these humans to understand what happens when someone stands against the Korthak Empire. First, we will destroy their moon. Then we will crack their planet. Any survivors will serve as slaves." Admiral Cole saluted again. "It will be done, my Emperor. 3 months to gather the fleet, then we travel to Earth." "Good," the Emperor said. "But first tell me more about these humans. What do they look like? How do they fight?" Strategist Fell brought up new images on his datapad. The hologram showed creatures with smooth skin and hair on their heads. They walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms like the Korthak, but they were smaller and weaker looking. "They are soft, my Emperor," Fell explained. "No natural armor or claws. They die easily from injury or disease. They live only about 60 to 80 of their years. Very short lives compared to our 300-year lifespan. They fight with armies on the ground," Admiral Cole added. "They use vehicles with wheels and tracks, flying machines with spinning blades, nothing that could threaten our ships in space." The Emperor walked around the hologram studying the human images. "They look weak. Do they have any technology that might surprise us?" "Nothing, my Emperor," Fell said with confidence. "Their computers are basic machines. They have not learned to manipulate gravity or energy fields. They cannot even travel faster than light. It would take them thousands of years to reach another star system. Perfect, the Emperor said with a cold smile. A weak enemy that will make us look strong. Admiral, I want you to record the entire conquest. I want other worlds to see what happens when they think about fighting us. Admiral Cole nodded. The humans will surrender quickly when they see our fleet, my Emperor. No one can stand against 12,000 warships. Maybe they will surrender, the Emperor said. But maybe they will try to fight. Either way, they will lose. Either way, Earth will belong to the Korthak Empire. Strategist Fell put away his datapad. My Emperor, should we try to contact them first? Offer them a chance to surrender without fighting? The Emperor laughed. It was a terrible sound that filled the Great Hall. No, let them see our ships first. Let them feel fear. Then when they are shaking with terror, we will tell them to surrender or die. Admiral Cole felt proud to serve such a strong emperor. Soon the whole galaxy would fear the Korthak Empire even more than they already did. The conquest of Earth would be talked about for thousands of years. Go now, the Emperor commanded. Prepare the fleet. In 3 months we sail for Earth. In 3 months we add another world to our empire. Both officers saluted and turned to leave. As they walked across the Great Hall, their footsteps echoed in the silence. Behind them, Emperor Zektoth returned to his throne, already thinking about his next conquest after Earth was taken. The Korthak Empire had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. They had never lost a battle. They had never failed to conquer a world they wanted. Earth would be no different, or so they thought. Dr. Hyun Soo-jin looked at the screens in front of her. Numbers and symbols moved across the displays faster than most people could read. But Soo-jin was not most people. She was the smartest scientist on Earth, and right now she was very worried. Show me the intercept again, she said to her assistant. The young man pressed some buttons. A recording started to play. Strange voices spoke in a language that sounded like metal grinding against stone. Below the alien voices, English words appeared on the screen. Primitive world. Chemical rockets. 200 ships. Easy conquest. Soo-jin had heard this recording 50 times already. Each time it made her feel cold inside. The aliens called themselves the Korthak Empire. They were coming to Earth with 12,000 ships. They thought humans were weak and stupid. They were wrong about humans being weak. But they were right about one thing. Most people on Earth had no idea how advanced human technology really was. Dr. Soo-jin, a voice said behind her. She turned to see Admiral Park Jae-won walking into the laboratory. The Korean Space Command facility was hidden deep under a mountain. Very few people knew it existed. Admiral, Soo-jin said with a bow, have you seen the latest reports? Admiral Park nodded. His face looked serious. 3 months until they arrive. Are we ready? Soo-jin smiled for the first time in days. More than ready. Come, let me show you what we have built. They walked through long corridors filled with humming machines. The walls were covered with pipes and cables that glowed with soft blue light. Scientists in white coats worked at stations covered with equipment that looked like nothing anyone had ever seen before. This is the quantum laboratory, Soo-jin explained. We have been working here for 20 years. Ever since we first detected signals from the Korthak Empire. Admiral Park looked surprised. 20 years? The government has known about aliens for 20 years? A few people knew, Soo-jin said. We kept it secret. We knew that someday they might come to Earth, so we prepared. They stopped at a large window that looked into another room. Inside, a strange machine floated in the air. It looked like a crystal made of light that changed colors constantly. Around it, the air itself seemed to bend and twist. What is that? Admiral Park asked. A quantum field generator, Soo-jin said with pride in her voice. It can change the shape of space and time. We have built 300 of these machines. They are hidden all over the solar system. Admiral Park stared at the floating machine. Change space and time? How is that possible? Most humans think we only learned to split atoms 70 years ago, Soo-jin explained. But the truth is different. We have been studying quantum physics in secret. We learned how to manipulate the building blocks of reality itself. They continued walking. The next room contained what looked like a small spaceship. But this ship was different from anything the public had ever seen. Its surface was black and seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols glowed along its sides. The Soul's Pride, Soo-jin said. Captain Lee Min-ho will pilot this ship when the aliens arrive. It can move between dimensions. It can appear and disappear at will. Admiral Park walked around the ship. How many of these do we have? 200 ships, Sujin answered. Just like the aliens think. But each of our ships can destroy 100 of theirs. Show me the weapons, Admiral Park said. Sujin led him to another room. Engineer Kim Bora was working at a control panel. She was young but very smart. She had designed most of Earth's secret weapons. Bora, Sujin called. Show the Admiral what we can do. Bora smiled and pressed a button. A hologram appeared showing a large asteroid floating in space. Watch this, she said. She pressed another button. A beam of invisible energy hit the asteroid. But the asteroid did not explode. It did not break apart. It simply stopped existing. One moment it was there. The next moment there was nothing but empty space. Quantum dissolution, Bora explained. We do not destroy matter. We erase it from reality. We break the bonds that hold atoms together. The target just disappears. Admiral Park felt his mouth fall open. You can erase matter from existence? Large pieces of matter, Bora said proudly. Like spaceships. The aliens will fire their weapons at us, but we will just make their ships disappear. They moved to the final room. Dr. Choi Dong-woo was working with a computer that filled the entire wall. But this was not a normal computer. It seemed to think and move like a living thing. This is our strategic computer, Dong-woo explained. We call it Oracle. It has been studying Korthak battle tactics for 15 years. It knows exactly how they will attack. How? Admiral Park asked. We have been watching them, Dong-woo said. Every time they conquer a world, we record everything. Oracle has studied 847 Korthak victories. It knows their patterns. Oracle spoke in a voice that sounded almost human. The Korthak fleet will arrive at the edge of the solar system. They will advance slowly, expecting us to surrender when we see their numbers. They will not scatter their ships because they believe we cannot threaten them. Perfect, Admiral Park said. They will group together, making easy targets. Sujin nodded. Oracle has calculated a 98% chance that we can destroy their entire fleet in less than 1 minute. Admiral Park looked around at all the amazing technology. Why did we keep this secret? We could have shared this knowledge with the world. Because humans are not ready, Sujin said sadly. This technology is too dangerous. In the wrong hands, it could destroy Earth. We built it only to protect our world. Captain Lee Minho walked into the room. He was tall and confident with calm eyes that missed nothing. Dr. Sujin, the Soul's Pride is ready for testing. When do we begin? Tomorrow, Sujin said. We have 3 months to practice. Every pilot must be perfect. Every weapon must work perfectly. We will get only one chance. Minho saluted Admiral Park. Sir, the pilots are excited to finally fight. We have been training for 20 years. We are ready to show these aliens what humans can really do. Admiral Park felt proud of these brave people. They had worked in secret for decades, preparing for a war that might never come. Now that war was only 3 months away. What about the moon base? Admiral Park asked. Luna base is ready, Sujin said. Commander Yuji Hai has 200 quantum field generators hidden under the surface. When the aliens arrive, she will activate them all at once. And if somehow they survive our attack? Admiral Park asked. Sujin smiled again. They will not survive. But if they do, we have more surprises waiting. Earth has weapons that can fold space, reverse time, and tear holes in reality itself. Oracle spoke again. Admiral Park, the Korthak Empire has never faced an enemy like humanity. They think we are primitive because we let them think that. When they discover the truth, it will be too late. Admiral Park looked out a window at the stars above. Somewhere out there, 12,000 alien warships were preparing to attack Earth. The aliens thought they were coming to conquer a weak world. They had no idea they were flying into a trap that had been 20 years in the making. They had no idea that the primitive humans they planned to enslave had technology that could erase them from existence itself. 3 months, Admiral Park said quietly. In 3 months, the galaxy will learn what happens when someone threatens Earth. Sujin nodded. In 3 months, the Korthak Empire will discover that humans are not the primitive species they think we are. We are something much more dangerous. What are we? Admiral Park asked. We are ready, Sujin said with determination in her voice. We are ready for war. The edge of the solar system was always cold and dark. But today it became something much worse. Today it became the doorway for the largest invasion fleet in galactic history. Space itself seemed to tear open like cloth. A hole appeared in the blackness, glowing with sick purple light. Through this hole came the first ships of the Korthak Empire. One ship, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands. Admiral Vextar Cole stood on the bridge of his flagship, the mighty dreadnought Worldbreaker. Through the huge windows he could see his fleet spreading out like a metal cloud. 12,000 ships of every size and type. Fighters, destroyers, cruisers, and massive battleships that could level cities. Status report, Admiral Cole demanded. All ships have arrived safely, Admiral, his second officer reported. The fleet is in formation and ready to advance. Admiral Cole smiled. His gray skin looked even more pale in the light from the screens around him. Excellent. Begin scanning the system. I want to know where every human ship is hiding. The Worldbreaker was so large that it had its own gravity. Admiral Cole could walk around inside it just like on a planet. The ship was 50 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide. Its main weapon could crack a planet in half. Smaller weapons covered its surface like metal thorns. Admiral, the scanning officer called out, we are detecting the human ships. They are exactly where our intelligence said they would be. Admiral Cole walked over to look at the display. A map of the solar system appeared, showing the positions of all human ships. Just as expected, most of them were gathered around Earth and its moon. A few were near Mars, some were floating near the gas giant they called Jupiter. Only 200 ships, Admiral Cole said with a laugh, spread out across their entire system. This will be even easier than we thought. But far away, hidden on the cold dwarf planet called Pluto, Captain Nam Tae-hyun was watching everything through very different eyes. His observation post was invisible to Korthak scanners. Human stealth technology was far beyond what the aliens could detect. Command, this is Pluto Station, Nam spoke into his communicator. The entire fleet has arrived. 12,000 ships confirmed. The Worldbreaker is with them. On the moon, Commander Yu-Ji Hai received the message in her secret control room. Luna Base was hidden 2 kilometers under the moon's surface. To alien scanners, it looked like empty rock. They had no idea that the moon was hollow, filled with the most advanced weapons humanity had ever built. Understood, Pluto Station, Yu replied, beginning final preparations. All units, this is Luna Control. Phase 1 is complete, moving to Phase 2. All across the solar system, human ships received the signal. But these were not the ships the aliens could see. Hidden in folded space, invisible to all sensors, 200 ghost ships began to move. Each one was small compared to the alien vessels. But each one carried weapons that could erase entire fleets from existence. Captain Lee Min-ho sat in the pilot seat of Seoul's Pride. Around him, his bridge crew worked quietly. They had trained for this moment for 20 years. Now it was finally time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. All ships, this is Seoul's Pride, Min-ho spoke into his communicator. Remember the plan. Let them get close. Let them think they have won. Then we show them the truth. On Earth, Dr. Hyun Soo-jin watched everything from her underground laboratory. Quantum field generators hidden throughout the solar system were charging up. Soon, space itself would become a weapon against the invaders. Dr. Soo-jin, her assistant called out, the aliens are broadcasting a message to Earth. Put it on the main screen, Soo-jin ordered. Admiral Cole's ugly face appeared on the display. His yellow eyes glowed with arrogance as he spoke. Humans of Earth, the alien admiral began. I am Admiral Vextar Cole of the Korthak Empire. You are surrounded by 12,000 warships. Your primitive technology cannot save you. You have one choice. Surrender now and serve the Empire as slaves or die fighting uselessly against superior forces. Soo-jin felt anger rise in her chest. These aliens had traveled across the galaxy to steal Earth and enslave humanity. They thought humans were weak animals that could be easily conquered. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Continue the message, she told her assistant. You have 1 hour to decide, Admiral Cole continued. After that, we will begin destroying your cities one by one. Your moon will be cracked in half as an example. Your planet will follow unless you surrender completely. The message ended. Soo-jin looked around at her team. Every face showed the same expression, cold determination. Oracle, Soo-jin called to the strategic computer. Are they moving as predicted? The artificial intelligence answered immediately. Yes, Dr. Soo-jin. The Korthak fleet is advancing in standard formation. They are grouping their ships together because they believe we cannot threaten them. This makes them perfect targets for our weapons. Meanwhile, on his flagship, Admiral Cole was feeling very pleased with himself. The human ships were not moving to attack. They were not even trying to run away. They were just sitting there like frightened animals. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, "the human ships are not responding to our presence. They appear to be waiting." "Waiting for what?" Admiral Cole asked. "They cannot possibly think their tiny ships can fight us. Perhaps they are preparing to surrender," the officer suggested. Admiral Cole nodded. "Most likely. Even primitive creatures can understand when they are completely outmatched." But pilot Shin Woo-jin, hidden in a scout ship near Jupiter, was sending very different information back to Earth. "Command, this is Scout 7, Shin reported. "The aliens are advancing in tight formation. All ships grouped together. They are making no effort to spread out or protect themselves." Dr. Choi Dong-woo, monitoring from his computer center, felt excited. "Perfect. Oracle predicted this exactly. They are walking straight into our trap." Back on the world breaker, Admiral Cole was growing impatient. "How long until we reach the inner system?" 6 hours at current speed, Admiral," his navigation officer answered. "Too slow," Admiral Cole said. "Increase speed. I want to reach Earth in 4 hours. These humans need to see our full power as quickly as possible." The massive fleet began moving faster toward Earth. 12,000 ships advancing like a metal storm cloud. Their weapons were charged and ready. Their shields were raised. They were prepared for any attack the primitive humans might attempt. What they were not prepared for was the message that came from Earth 30 minutes later. A human voice spoke across all frequencies. It was calm and confident without any fear. "Korthak Fleet, this is Earth Defense Command. Your surrender ultimatum has been received and rejected. You have one chance to turn around and leave our system peacefully. If you continue your attack, you will be destroyed completely." On the Worldbreaker Bridge, every alien officer began laughing. The idea that humans could threaten them was ridiculous. "Did they just threaten us?" Admiral Cole asked, still laughing. "It appears so, Admiral," his second officer replied. "Shall we ignore their message?" "No," Admiral Cole said with a cruel smile. "Send a reply. Tell them their defiance will cost them dearly. Tell them we will make their death slow and painful." But before he could send his reply, another human voice came across the communication system. This one belonged to pilot Shin Woo-jin. "Admiral Cole of the Korthak Empire," Shin said with ice in his voice. "Your empire has conquered 847 worlds. Today, that number stops growing. Today your empire dies." Admiral Cole felt anger replace his amusement. "How dare these insects speak to me with such disrespect? All ships prepare for immediate attack. I want every human ship destroyed in the next hour." But as his fleet prepared to fire their weapons, something impossible began to happen. Space around them started to change. Reality itself began to bend and twist. The stars started moving in strange patterns. "Admiral," his science officer called out with fear in his voice. "Something is wrong with space-time. Our sensors are detecting massive energy readings throughout the system." Admiral Cole looked at his screens in confusion. "What kind of energy readings?" "Unknown type, Admiral. But the power levels are impossible. No civilization should be able to generate this much energy." For the first time since arriving at Earth, Admiral Cole felt a small touch of worry. Maybe these humans had surprises that Imperial intelligence had missed. He had no idea how right he was, and he had no idea that his invasion fleet had less than 1 minute left to exist. Dr. Hyun Soo-jin placed her hand on the activation control. Around her, dozens of scientists worked at their stations. Every screen showed the same thing: 12,000 alien ships, approaching Earth in perfect formation. "All stations report ready," her assistant announced. "Quantum field generators are charged to maximum power." Engineer Kim Bora called out from her station. "Seoul's Pride and all defense ships are in position." Captain Lee Min-ho's voice came through the communicator. "Luna Base is ready to fire." Commander Yu Ji-hai reported from the moon. Dr. Soo-jin looked at the main display. The alien fleet was now close enough to see Earth with their own eyes. Admiral Cole's flagship, the massive Worldbreaker, led the formation like a metal mountain flying through space. "Oracle," Soo-jin said to the strategic computer. "Final analysis. All Korthak ships are grouped together as predicted," Oracle replied in its calm voice. "They have made no effort to spread out. Their shields are raised but configured for standard energy weapons. They are completely unprepared for quantum dissolution technology." "Time to target range?" Soo-jin asked. 47 seconds, Oracle answered. On the Worldbreaker, Admiral Cole was feeling confident again. His brief moment of worry had passed. Whatever strange energy his sensors had detected, it was probably just some natural phenomenon. These primitive humans could not possibly threaten his mighty fleet. "Admiral," his weapons officer reported, "all ships are ready to fire. We can destroy every human vessel in one coordinated attack." "Excellent," Admiral Cole said. "Target their largest ships first. I want them to watch their defenses crumble before their eyes." But 30 seconds away, hidden in folded space, Captain Minho was preparing to give the aliens a very different surprise. "All ships, this is Sol's Pride," he spoke to the invisible human fleet. "Quantum generators activating in 30 seconds. Prepare to phase into normal space on my mark." 20 seconds to activation, Dr. Sujin announced. Space around the Korthak fleet began to shimmer. Reality started to bend. The aliens' instruments went crazy as quantum fields stronger than anything they had ever seen began to form around them. "Admiral," the science officer shouted on the Worldbreaker. "The energy readings are off the scale. Something is happening to space itself." Admiral Cole looked at his screens in growing alarm. The stars outside were starting to twist and change. Space looked like water with waves moving through it. 10 seconds, Sujin said. "What is happening?" Admiral Cole demanded. "Where is this energy coming from?" His tactical officer pointed at the display with a shaking hand. "Admiral, it's coming from everywhere. The entire solar system is generating these fields." "That's impossible," Admiral Cole shouted. "No civilization has that kind of power." 5 seconds, Sujin announced. 4. Admiral Cole realized with horrible certainty that he had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not primitive at all. 3. All ships retreat. Admiral Cole screamed into his communicator. "Emergency jump to hyperspace now." 2. But it was too late. Space around the Korthak fleet had become a trap. Quantum fields locked their ships in place. Hyperspace was impossible. 1. Activation, Dr. Sujin said calmly. What happened next lasted exactly 47 seconds. But those 47 seconds changed the galaxy forever. Dr. Sujin pressed the activation control. Instantly, 300 quantum field generators hidden throughout the solar system came to life. The space around the Korthak fleet became a prison made of bent reality. Sol's Pride. "Phase into normal space," Minho ordered. 200 human ships appeared out of nowhere, materializing directly inside the alien formation. The Sol's Pride appeared right next to the Worldbreaker, so close that Admiral Cole could see Captain Minho through the bridge windows. "Impossible," Admiral Cole whispered. Engineer Bora activated her quantum dissolution cannons. "Beginning target elimination," she announced. The first alien ships began to disappear. Not destroyed, simply erased from existence. One moment a Korthak destroyer was there. The next moment there was empty space where it had been. "Fire all weapons." Admiral Cole screamed to his fleet. The alien ships tried to fight back. Energy beams and missiles shot out from thousands of weapons. But the attacks had no effect. Human ships phased in and out of normal space. Weapons passed right through them like they were ghosts. Meanwhile, the quantum dissolution cannons continued their work. Entire squadrons of alien ships vanished in seconds. The technology did not explode them or break them apart. It simply made them stop existing. "Admiral," the Worldbreaker's tactical officer shouted. "We've lost 2,000 ships. They're just disappearing." Admiral Cole watched in horror as his mighty fleet melted away like ice in fire. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were being erased as if they had never been built. "Target the human ships," he ordered. "Use everything we have." But the human ships were impossible to hit. They moved between dimensions like dolphins swimming through water. They appeared, fired their terrible weapons, then vanished again. Commander Yu on the moon activated Luna Base's hidden weapons. Massive quantum cannons rose from the moon's surface and began firing at the trapped alien fleet. Each shot erased 10 ships at once, 6,000 ships lost, the tactical officer reported, his voice full of panic. Admiral Cole tried to contact his emperor, but even radio signals could not escape the quantum fields trapping his fleet. He was completely cut off from the rest of the galaxy. "Use the planet cracker," Admiral Cole ordered desperately. "Fire the Worldbreaker's main weapon at Earth." "Destroy their planet!" The massive weapon began to charge. Energy built up in the ship's core, preparing to fire a beam that could split worlds in half. But Dr. Sujin had been waiting for this moment. Oracle, Execute Protocol 7, she commanded. Protocol 7 activated, the strategic computer replied. The quantum fields around the world breaker suddenly changed. Space-time began to fold back on itself. When the planet Cracker fired, its energy beam was bent through folded space and redirected. Back at the ship that had fired it, the world breaker was destroyed by its own ultimate weapon. Admiral Cole had just enough time to send one final message before his ship was erased. "They're not primitive," he transmitted to empty space. "They're gods." Then the world breaker disappeared, taking Admiral Cole with it. The battle continued for 30 more seconds. Human ships moved through the trapped alien fleet like angels of death. Quantum dissolution beams erased everything they touched. Ships that had existed for centuries vanished in the blink of an eye. Captain Minho watched the last alien ship disappear from his sensors. "All targets eliminated," he reported. "The Korthak invasion fleet has been completely destroyed." In her underground laboratory, Dr. Su Jin looked at her displays. Where 12,000 alien warships had been threatening Earth, now there was only empty space. Not even debris remained. The entire fleet had been erased from reality itself. "Deactivate quantum fields," she ordered. "Return all ships to normal space." Space-time slowly returned to normal. The human defense fleet became visible again, floating in the space where their enemies had been moments before. "Casualties?" Admiral Park asked over the communicator. "Zero," Minho replied. "No human ships were damaged. The enemy never managed to hit us." Dr. Su Jin felt tired but satisfied. 20 years of preparation had been worth it. The Korthak Empire had sent their strongest fleet to conquer Earth. That fleet no longer existed. "Oracle," she said to the strategic computer, "send a message to the Korthak homeworlds. Tell them what happened here." "What message should I send?" Oracle asked. Sujin thought for a moment. "Tell them that Earth is under human protection now. Tell them that any species that threatens peaceful worlds will face the same fate as their invasion fleet. Tell them the age of the Korthak Empire is over." Captain Minho guided Soul's Pride back toward Earth. Behind him, the space where 12,000 alien ships had died was completely empty. No one would ever know those ships had been there except for the humans who had erased them. The galaxy was about to learn that humans were not the primitive species everyone thought they were. They were something much more dangerous. They were ready for anything. 3 weeks after the battle, Emperor Zektoth sat alone in his great throne room. The massive hall felt empty and cold. Red lights still cast strange shadows on the black stone walls, but now those shadows seemed to move with fear instead of power. The Emperor stared at the communication device in his hands. For 3 weeks he had tried to contact Admiral Cole's fleet. For 3 weeks there had been only silence. "My Emperor," a voice said from the doorway. Strategist Morden Fell walked slowly across the floor. His gray skin looked even more pale than usual. His hands shook as he carried a data pad. "Speak," the Emperor commanded, though his voice had lost much of its strength. "We have received a message from the Sol system," Fell said quietly. "It is not from Admiral Cole." Emperor Zektoth felt his blood turn cold. "Show me." Fell activated his datapad. A hologram appeared in the air, but this time it was not showing star maps or alien ships. Instead, it showed the face of a human. Dr. Choi Dongwu looked directly at the Emperor with calm, confident eyes. "Emperor Zektoth of the Korthak Empire," the human began. "This is Dr. Dongwu of Earth Defense Command. Your invasion fleet arrived in our system 3 weeks ago. 12,000 ships under Admiral Cole's command." The Emperor leaned forward. "Where is Admiral Cole? Where is my fleet?" But the message continued without answering his questions. "Your fleet has been completely destroyed. Every ship, every crew member, they no longer exist. They have been erased from reality by human quantum weapons." "Impossible," the Emperor whispered. "Your empire has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years," Dr. Dongwu continued. "You have conquered 847 worlds. You have enslaved billions of beings. Today your empire ends." Strategist Fell looked at his Emperor with frightened eyes. "My Emperor, this must be some kind of trick. Humans cannot possibly have such technology." But the human on the hologram was not finished. "We know about every world you have conquered. We know about every species you have enslaved. We are now extending Earth's protection to all of them. Any Korthak ship that approaches a former Imperial world will be destroyed instantly." Emperor Zektoth stood up from his throne. His legs felt weak, but anger gave him strength. "How dare they threaten the Korthak Empire? Send the second fleet!" Send all our fleets. Destroy this human world. Dr. Dongwu smiled on the hologram. You are welcome to try. But know this. We have been watching your empire for decades. We know the location of every Korthak world. We know where your fleets are stationed. We know where you live. The hologram changed. Now it showed Emperor Zektoth's own throne room seen from above. The Emperor looked up in shock, but he could see no cameras or recording devices. How? He gasped. Human technology is beyond your understanding, Dr. Dongwu explained. We can see anywhere in the galaxy. We can travel anywhere instantly. We can erase your entire civilization if we choose to. But we offer you a choice. What choice? The Emperor demanded. Leave the worlds you have conquered. Return to your home systems. Live in peace. Do this and humanity will leave you alone. Continue your empire of slavery and conquest and we will erase every Korthak ship, every Korthak world and every Korthak life from existence. The message ended. The throne room fell into silence. Strategist Fel spoke quietly. My Emperor, what are your orders? But Emperor Zektoth had no answer. His mighty empire, built over 1,000 years, was being threatened by a species he had thought was primitive. A species that could apparently erase entire fleets from reality. On Earth, Captain Lee Min-ho was piloting Soul's Pride through space near the former Imperial world of Nexus Prime. The planet below had been under Korthak rule for 300 years. Now it was free. Soul's Pride, this is Nexus Prime Control. A grateful voice came through his communicator. Thank you for liberating our world. The Korthak garrison fled when they saw your ship approaching. You are welcome, Min-ho replied. Earth will protect you now. Any Korthak ship that threatens you will be destroyed. Similar scenes were happening throughout the galaxy. Human ships appeared at former Imperial worlds, not to conquer but to protect. Species that had been slaves for centuries suddenly found themselves free. Dr. Hyun Soo-jin stood in her laboratory, watching reports come in from across the galaxy. On her screens, she could see celebrations on dozens of worlds. People who had never hoped to be free were dancing in their streets. Dr. Soo-jin, her assistant called out, we're receiving surrender messages from Korthak governors on 47 worlds. They're abandoning their positions and fleeing back to Imperial space. Soo-jin nodded. Let them go. We are not conquerors. We only want to protect the innocent. Admiral Park Jae-won walked into the laboratory. The galactic situation is changing rapidly, he reported. The Korthak Empire is collapsing. Most of their subject worlds have declared independence. Their military is in chaos. What about Emperor Zektoth? Soo-jin asked. He has not responded to our ultimatum, Park replied. Intelligence suggests he is preparing for war. He's gathering the remaining Imperial fleets. Soo-jin looked sad. Then he has chosen destruction over peace. Oracle, what is the status of the remaining Korthak military? The strategic computer answered immediately. 8,000 ships remaining across 37 star systems. Most are older vessels. None have weapons that can threaten human ships. Can we disable them without killing the crews? Soo-jin asked. Yes, Oracle replied. Quantum field manipulation can disable their ships and transport the crews to safe locations. They can be returned to their homeworlds as prisoners. Commander Yu Ji-hai's voice came through the communicator from Luna Base. Dr. Soo-jin, we're detecting movement in Korthak space. They're gathering their fleets for a final attack. Soo-jin sighed. Some people never learned. How long until they arrive? Oracle calculates 6 days, Yu replied. Then we have 6 days to prepare a demonstration, Soo-jin said. Something that will convince the Emperor to surrender without more killing. Captain Min-ho's voice joined the conversation. Dr. Soo-jin, I have an idea. What if we show them what our weapons can really do? Not just erasing ships, but something bigger. What do you mean? Soo-jin asked. The Korthak Empire has an old mining world called Destruction Point. It's lifeless. Nothing but rock and metal. What if we erase the entire planet? Show them that we can destroy worlds as easily as ships? Admiral Park looked thoughtful. That might convince the Emperor to surrender. Seeing a planet simply disappear would be quite a shock. Dr. Soo-jin considered the idea. It would be a terrible demonstration of power, but it might save millions of lives if it ended the war quickly. Oracle, she said finally, can we erase a planet and make sure every Korthak ship in the galaxy sees it happen? Yes, Oracle replied. I can arrange for their communication systems to broadcast the event automatically. Every Korthak will see their mining world disappear. Engineer Kim Bo-ra looked up from her station. The quantum dissolution array can be modified for planetary targets. It would take 3 days to prepare. Su-Jin made her decision. Do it, but first send another message to Emperor Zektoth. Give him one final chance to surrender. 3 days later, Dr. Dongwu's face appeared on communication screens throughout Korthak space. His message was simple and direct. Emperor Zektoth, this is your final warning. We detect your fleets preparing for attack. Withdraw them now and accept peace or face the consequences. You have 1 hour to decide. Emperor Zektoth, surrounded by his remaining military leaders, laughed bitterly. 1 hour? These humans think they can threaten the Korthak Empire with their tricks? Attack! Destroy their world! But his order was never carried out. Exactly 1 hour later, every Korthak in the galaxy watched in horror as their mining world of Destruction Point simply vanished. One moment it was there, a rocky planet orbiting a red star. The next moment there was nothing but empty space. Engineer Bora had erased an entire world from existence. Emperor Zektoth stared at his screens in absolute terror. A planet, they had erased a whole planet, not destroyed it or blown it apart, but made it simply cease to exist. Surrender, he whispered. Then louder, surrender! Send the surrender message to Earth immediately. Within hours, Korthak fleets throughout the galaxy powered down their weapons and waited for human ships to accept their surrender. The 1,000-year empire was over. Dr. Su-Jin stood in her laboratory watching the reports come in. The galaxy was free. Hundreds of species that had lived under Korthak rule were now independent. The threat of Imperial conquest was ended forever. What now? Admiral Park asked. What does humanity do with such power? Su-Jin looked up at the stars through her window. We protect the innocent. We help rebuild the worlds that were damaged. We make sure that no empire like the Korthak ever rises again. And if other threats appear? Park asked. Su-Jin smiled. Then they will learn what the Korthak learned. Earth protects its friends, and Earth does not forgive those who threaten peaceful worlds. Captain Minho's voice came through the communicator one final time. Dr. Su-Jin, this is Seoul's pride. The galaxy is secure. All former Imperial worlds are under human protection. The age of conquest is over. Good, Su-Jin replied. Welcome to the age of peace. Outside her window, the stars shone quietly in the darkness. For the first time in 1,000 years, those stars looked down on a galaxy where the